a video today and talk about the marked transition of the Reel, going from talking about celebrity news and pop culture primarily to now almost daily talking about issues of race. They've added in Amanda Seales, who I would call her an expert, I guess would be the term, an expert on race relations. Now that's what I wanted to talk about today, because when I look on Twitter at the responses at the addition of Amanda Seales to the Reel, when I look on Twitter and see what people are saying about that, I do see a lot of talk about now, since they've added Amanda Seales, they talk about race a lot. And I want to say this, I feel like Amanda Seales is getting almost like a lot of backlash that's not deserved. Because from my point of view, it seems as if the producers of the Reel wanted to be a little bit more serious and they wanted to talk about race more, and that's why they brought Amanda Seales on. I don't think Amanda Seales is running the show behind the scenes telling them what to talk about. I think it's the other way around, and I think she was brought in because she's an expert on race. Now I want to go back a few weeks, maybe even a few months, to when I posted a video response. A lot of YouTubers posted a video response to Jeannie Mai talking about YouTubers. Jeannie Mai and Tamera Mowry-Housley talking about YouTubers, and Jeannie Mai specifically saying YouTubers not having credibility, and how a lot of you guys in my comments, knowing that I'm an educated woman, a lot of YouTubers who are in like my same genre, like we're educated, like we're educated women. And so a lot of you guys were saying that they are bloggers. Like, you look at them and look at us the same. Like, you don't see them having any more credibility than you see us having. Especially knowing that we are educated and we built our own credibility online on social media. So I feel like with the addition of Amanda Seales, a woman who is educated, who's clearly educated, she has her master's degree, I believe, in African American Studies from like a really good school. I forget what school, but I know it's a good school. My opinion, I believe she brings a conversation up. So I wanted to talk about today about the reception of Amanda Seales on the Reel. But when I look in the comments of the Reel videos, like not just Twitter, but the actual comments of the Reel videos on YouTube, I actually see more people talking about Amanda's interactions with Tamera on the Reel, and how it's almost like she challenges, I don't want to say forces, but she challenges Tamera on some of her stances on racial issues, and she challenges her to be more outspoken, because it seems like Tamera can have a tendency to be all, you know, rainbows and flowers and everything is good, and she kind of challenges her on some of the things she says about race. So before we get into it, I want you guys to see some of these comments that I'm seeing in the comment section on the Reel's videos. So I would like to talk about that, Amanda Seales' interaction with Tamera, the issue about the Real talking about race every day, and that the reception that that's getting with the Real audience. I do feel a way about people complaining about that, because as Black women and women of color, like, we deal with race issues every day. Like, this is our lives. Our skin don't wash off when we go home. Like, this is what we deal with every day. So I feel like it's almost people speaking from a place of privilege when they say they don't want to talk about race issues every day. So we can do that video on another day. I want to talk today about Amanda Seales challenging Tamera on race issues. Now, on the most recent episode of The Real, there was a situation where there was a man who was talking about, I believe it was a man of Hispanic descent, and he was talking about his child being bullied in school. And I don't even think that he had got to the point of saying it was a race issue yet. I think he was just starting what he was saying, and someone asked him, why don't you go back to Mexico? And in the conversation that the hosts were having, Tamera made a comment about staying calm when confronting racism. And then Amanda challenged her on, why do you have to stay calm? Which is a deeper question. Like, the conversations we see going on The Real, like, they could really be longer. I don't even know how they can talk about such deep issues in like 2 minutes. But in Amanda Seales' book, Small Doses, she talks about that, about tone police. And also in Francesca Ramsey's book, she also talks about tone police, how people want people who are victims to stay calm and keep a calm tone when what happened to them was outrageous. Like, they should be enraged. Rage is a valid feeling. Even in the Bible, it says that rage is a valid feeling. Anger, but sin not. It's not a sin to be angry. People may not appreciate your anger in situations, and a lot of people tune out when they're speaking to someone who seems so angry. But again, anger is a valid feeling. And so Amanda Seales was challenging Tamera on, why do you say keep calm? And she asked Lonnie, you've said that before too, why do you say keep calm? Basically, why are you policing people's tones? And Tamera explained, and Adrian kind of, explained as well. Tamera explained that it was so that you're not perceived as a stereotype. Which brings me to this. I want to do some suggested reading for Tamera and women and men who think like her. It's this book called Beyond Respectability by Brittany C. Cooper. I've read her other book, Eloquent Rage, which I mentioned on my blog, lailahlynntv.com. But in this book, it talks about how, in response to racial issues, a lot of times we as African Americans have been taught to take the high road. We've been taught that if we're better, if we get an education, we're respectable people. If we become respectable people, which most times is through education, and then your economic class changes. If you become respectable, then you will be respected. That's what we've been taught. And this book talks about the fallacy in that. And I'm going to try to put a clip in. I appreciate Amanda Seales so much on The Real, but even more so, I appreciate when she talks freely, like on her social media. And she was talking yesterday about how racism is basically a form of psychosis. Like, if you really believe your race makes you better than someone else, when race is really just a social creation. It's not a biological thing. It's not a real thing. But if you believe that your race makes you better than someone else, you're literally psychotic. So when you're dealing with that type of psychosis, you being calm doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be heard when you're speaking to someone who's literally psychotic. So personally, I feel like we as Black people, and Black women in particular, should stop feeling so bad when we're enraged by racism or issues of sexism. I feel like we should not necessarily allow ourselves to be policed. Like, there are, like this book says, eloquent ways to express your rage and be productive. So I think we should be okay with our anger and use it in productive ways. That's my personal opinion. But then I also wanted to share this, and this also comes from reading Francesca Ramsey's book. This is Cheska Lee or Cheska Locks. I've been following her since Cheska Locks, and I just read her book. And she was saying basically she's in an interracial relationship, just like Tamera is in an interracial relationship. And she was saying how she receives so much more backlash than her husband does. They're both in an interracial relationship. They're in it together. They're doing it together. But she's the one that receives so much of the backlash. And that makes me wonder if Tamera is kind of timid when it comes to talking about racial issues, because she receives so much backlash. And I want to know you guys' thoughts and opinions on that. Do you think the reason Tamera is reserved and a little bit more not outspoken when it comes to talking about issues of race, do you think that's because of like her personal feelings, like she doesn't want to be attacked? Her family, half her family is Caucasian, her biological family and her in-laws, so maybe it's like a personal decision not to explicitly talk about race and race relations on the show. Do you guys think that's what it is when it comes to Tamera not really speaking up about race? Leave a comment and let me know what you think about that. I think it's possible. I don't know for sure. I think it's possible. And I first started, I guess I kind of, with the real, when they say, you know, they keep it real, I kind of, you know, assumed, okay, they keep it real. But I realized when Jeannie Mai was asked the question about T.I., when T.I. said that he was, you know, having the doctor check his daughter's hymen, and she responded in the positive about that. And she basically was, it was almost as if she was asked a different question. Instead of it being like she was asked, what do you think about T.I. having his daughter doctor check her hymen, Jeannie Mai responded as if the question was, what good can you say about T.I.? Like, she answered a totally different question, and it always stuck out to me. And I think it's because we can't expect too much from TV hosts. Like, they still have their personal lives, and she's going home to, you know, T.I.'s friend. Jeezy and T.I. are friends. They seem to be really good friends, and if she doesn't want to rock the boat in her relationship, if she'd rather just make a nice statement and not have to deal with any negative conversation in her relationship, part of me can understand that. She's enjoying her BBC. So part of me can understand her, you know, not want to say too much, because she also has her personal life and she has to protect her own personal peace. So I guess that's kind of where I am right now. That's what I think when it comes to Jeannie Mai and any of the hosts. When it seems like they won't say too much about a certain topic, I kind of assume that they're trying to protect their personal peace. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Amanda and Tamera's interactions, and Amanda challenging Tamera on her statements about race? Do you think that Tamera is just trying to protect like her personal life and her personal peace, or do you think it's something else? Leave a comment and let me know what you think, and let me know what you think about Amanda Seales' addition to the real cast of hosts. Leave a comment and let me know. As always, thanks for watching.